I used to think horror was something you could turn off, something that lived only in books, movies, or the late-night retelling of urban legends. I didn't believe it could invade your real life, your safe spaces, your living room, but I know better now. I know that some horrors don't come screaming through the door or crawling out from under your bed. Some just drift in silently like smoke and sit there until you finally notice them. It started on an ordinary Thursday night. The house was too quiet, maybe, but I'd gotten used to that after living alone for almost a year. I'd just finished dinner and settled on the couch, flipping through streaming menus until I landed on a mindless sitcom rerun. The glow of the TV was the only light in the room. The street lamp outside barely reached my front window, just enough to throw faint yellow lines across the hardwood. My phone was on the coffee table, screen dimmed, the occasional buzz from a notification reminding me that the rest of the world was still out there, moving along without me. That was when I noticed it. It was subtle. At first, I thought it was just a trick of my peripheral vision, like when your eyes are tired and shadows seem to shift. But then I saw it again, a darker patch, gliding silently across the far wall. It wasn't shaped like anything in the room. It wasn't from me and it wasn't from the TV. It was just moving. I froze. My first thought was that maybe someone had walked past the window outside. But my blinds were down and my apartment was on the second floor of a duplex. Even if someone was on the sidewalk below, there was no way their shadow could stretch all the way into my living room like that. I muted the TV. The silence hit me hard. No laugh track, no hum of dialogue, just the faint creak of the building settling. I sat perfectly still, watching the patch of darkness creep along the wall until it slid behind the bookshelf and vanished. I told myself it had to be from a car passing by, but no headlights had flashed, no sound of an engine, just that thing. The next night, it happened again. I was halfway through an old horror movie funny, in hindsight, when I saw the same shadow glide across the room. This time it was quicker, almost darting, like it didn't want to be seen. But I caught it. My eyes locked on it as it streaked across the far wall, dipping low before disappearing again. I jumped up, yanked open the blinds, and looked outside. The street was empty. No cars, no people, no movement at all, except for a leaf tumbling down the gutter. That was when I noticed something strange. The shadow hadn't been in the right place. The way it had moved, the angle, it didn't match anything from outside. In fact, it had moved against the direction light from the street lamp would have cast it. I didn't sleep well that night. On the third night, I decided to test it. I set up my phone on the armrest of the couch, camera aimed at the wall where I'd seen the movement. I left the TV on, muted, and sat waiting. Every creak in the building made me flinch. At 9:17 p.m., it appeared. The shadow drifted into view, not fast, not slow, just a steady glide like it was floating through water. My breath caught. It was larger this time, stretching almost from floor to ceiling, but without any clear shape. No head, no arms, no legs, just darkness, dense enough to look solid. I stared, barely breathing, until it slid across the wall and melted into the corner. When I checked my phone, my stomach turned. The recording showed nothing. The wall was bare. No movement, no shadow. Just me, sitting frozen on the couch, staring at empty space. That's when things started to escalate. Over the next week, the shadow became bolder. It wouldn't just stay on the wall, it started crossing the floor, sliding over the rug toward me. Always slow, deliberate, like it was testing how close it could get before I reacted. I stopped watching TV at night, but it didn't matter. I'd be reading or eating or scrolling through my phone, and there it would be, moving in my peripheral vision, drifting closer. I tried telling myself I was imagining it, that I was just tired or stressed, but then I noticed something else. Every time it appeared, the temperature in the room would drop. Not dramatically, just enough for me to feel it like someone had opened a window in January. My skin would prickle, the hair on my arms standing up, and the silence. The silence felt heavier, like the air itself was holding its breath. The first time it touched me, I thought I was going to scream. I was sitting on the couch, knees tucked up, when I saw the shadow slide across the rug. I tried not to look at it directly, but I could feel it moving toward me, then cold. Not just cold freezing. A burst of icy pressure against my ankle, like someone had wrapped a hand around it. I jerked my leg away and turned on every light in the house. The shadow was gone. I didn't sleep at all that night. By now, I was too scared to stay in the living room after dark, but it followed me. I'd see it in the kitchen, sliding along the cabinets. In the hallway, creeping over the floorboards. Once, in the bathroom mirror, I caught a flash of it moving behind me, but when I turned, the room was empty. I tried to record it again, using my phone, my laptop, even a borrowed security camera. Nothing worked. On video, it was never there. But I knew what I'd seen, what I kept seeing. Then came the worst night. It was raining, a steady, heavy downpour that made the air thick and cold. I was in bed, trying to read, when the power went out. The apartment was swallowed in blackness, and then I heard it. A faint scraping sound like fabric brushing the floor coming from the hallway. I froze, straining to listen. The sound moved closer. My bedroom door was slightly ajar, and through the gap I saw it, the shadow. Taller than the doorway, darker than the night around it, gliding toward me. I couldn't move. My body felt pinned, my breath shallow. The shadow reached the doorway and stopped. I could feel the cold spilling into the room. Then, slowly, it slid through the opening. The darkness poured in like smoke, curling around the edges of my bed, creeping up the walls. I felt alive. I could feel the weight of it pressing against my skin, my chest tightening. And then just as suddenly, it was gone. The lights flickered back on, and I was alone. I moved out the next morning. I didn't break my lease, didn't explain anything. I just packed and left. But sometimes, when I'm watching TV at night in my new place, I catch myself glancing at the wall. And sometimes, I think I see it. Still moving, still watching,